Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Luigi back with Luigi's Auto here, just making a quick video. And in this video, I'm going to talk about salvage titles and rebuild titles, kind of like what's the difference and how they get cars. Should you buy these cars? Okay, so let's get into it real quick. So number one, is a salvage title and a rebuild title the same thing? Not really. So what a salvage title is, a salvage title car is, you know, if a car was involved in an accident, if the car was, somehow the car caught on fire, if the car received like excessive hail damage, if it was stolen, so like theft related, vandalism, flood, all these things could have caused the car to receive a salvage title, right? So I know when it rains really hard or you go through big puddles of water and the water gets in the vehicle, although it didn't get as high as the motor, but it did enter like the interior at some point. The insurance company will salvage it out for that reason. Again, it could be stolen. You guys know with all the stuff going on with Kias and Hyundais right now. Those cars, I see a bunch of those cars in the auction for theft. Doesn't mean they're bad vehicles, right? They can be repaired, but a lot of those are in the auction for theft. And obviously, if you get into an accident, right, you're driving down the street and somebody hits you, and their insurance company says, okay, well, go ahead and take your car to a body shop. The body shop gives you an estimate of I don't know, $5,000, let's just say. Your car's worth like $8,000, so the insurance company is going to say, hey, well, you know what, we're just going to pay you out for the vehicle and we're going to take possession of the vehicle. So that vehicle then gets a salvage title for any of those reasons that I said. Once the insurance company gets involved and they decide that they're going to take the vehicle from you and pay you out, then your vehicle is most likely going to be salvaged at that point, right? So what happens to your vehicle? Once the insurance company takes that vehicle, they put it in an auction. So they'll put it in an auction like Copart or an auction like IAAI. And then a lot of times people who are licensed dealers like myself, we inspect a few cars and we'll look for the cars with like minimal damage or an easy repair. And then we'll buy those cars, right? So we'll buy those cars. And in order for us to register those cars, we have to make sure that they pass smog. We have to make sure that they're safe. So they have to go through a brake and a lamp inspection. So they want to make sure the brakes work, all the lights turn on, and they have to get a VIN verification. So once we do all those steps, then we can go down to the DMV and we can apply for our registration, and then we get our title in the mail, just like a normal vehicle. And then you get your pink slip, and you can pretty much do what you want with the car at that point. Once you receive your title, you can sell it, you can do whatever you want, right? So does that mean, that at that point, once you receive your pink slip, your car has now been rebuilt. So it went from a salvage title to a rebuild title. So that's the difference. A lot of times people would just say salvage, but if it met all the criteria, if it already went through the smog, the brake and lamp, really it's just a rebuild title now. But a lot of people just say salvage anyway. I've noticed that. Not a lot of people. Some people will say, oh, it's a rebuild title now. A lot of people will still say it's salvage. I can tell you on the pink slip, at least here in California, when we receive a title, at the top right, it will say salvage. It doesn't say rebuild title. But however, some people just say, well, it's a rebuild title now. The car has been rebuilt. So it can be a little confusing, but at the end of the day, your pink slip will still say salvage. So the question that I get asked a lot is, should I buy a salvage title car? Well, my answer to that question would be, honestly, I would definitely do your due diligence. Do I think salvage cars are bad? No, I've sold plenty. Great cars, great cars. Some I question myself like, wow, I can't believe this thing was salvage. But you have to understand, when you get into an accident, right, and the insurance company asks you to take that vehicle down to a body shop to get an estimate, you're not taking it to like a mom and pop, somebody who does some great work. You're taking it to one of the best body shops you can find, right? You want to get your car fixed. Now that body shop is going to tell you, oh yeah, I know, for us to paint this door and this fender and to pull this a little bit, it's going to cost X amount of money. So that estimate then goes to the insurance company, and the insurance company decides, oh no, you know what, we're not going to pay that money. We're just going to take the vehicle from you and pay you out. And what they do is they sell the vehicle in auction and make some of that money back. So at that point, your car became salvage, right? Now, a lot of times we know people who can do the job for a great price and do just as good of a job without having to go to a big body shop. And that's how dealers like myself will then buy that vehicle. And instead of paying somebody, $1,500 to fix the car, we may pay somebody like $600-700, and they did just a great job as the big body shop would do. It's almost like, if you go to a big mechanic shop, if you go to a dealer to get your car repaired for anything, right? We all know if you go to the dealer to get your brakes done, you're going to pay top dollar, right? But there's a lot of mom and pop shops or people who can do the job just as good for a lot less money, right? So think about it the same way with a body shop, right? If you go to one of the best body shops, you're always going to pay top dollar, but there's always somebody who can do the job for a lot less. So essentially, again, I don't want to confuse you guys too much, but that is like salvage and like rebuild titles. But again, do I think they're great cars? They're absolutely great cars. Some of them are damaged for just, fender benders, what we call. Now keep this in mind, the older the vehicle, the insurance company will salvage it out for any reason, right? Well, not any reason, but like mostly any damage. And that's because the value of the car is a lot less, right? So let's just give you an example of some cars that I've seen in the auction. Let's just say a 2007 Honda Accord with 165,000 miles. Is that a good car? Yes. Now let's just say, the car was driving down the street and the car was rear-ended, right? It pushed the left quarter panel in just a little bit, damaged it just a little bit, back bumper just a little bit. Car still drives fine. It still drives great. Well, guess what? Once they exchange insurance information and that person's insurance recommends this person to take the car to a body shop and they get that estimate, they may say, well, we don't want to pay that money to fix this car. So we're just going to take it and put it in an auction and we'll pay this person out. And then somebody like me buys that car, we'll get it fixed, we'll drive it, we'll put it on the freeway, make sure it's smog and safe and all that good stuff, and we'll repair it. So that doesn't mean that the car was a bad car, right? There was no damage to the motor. There was no damage to the transmission. I mean, it runs great. It passed smog. It was an easy repair. And what I can do at that point, I can save the consumer some money, because I should then receive a better price on this car, so then I can pass that price along to the consumer. So do I think, again, salvage titles are bad cars? No. I do recommend that you do your due diligence. If you can, I highly recommend that you pull a Carfax or ask the person that you're buying the car from, hey, like, why was it salvaged? A lot of times you could just take that VIN number and you can put it in Google and you might be able to pull up some recent pictures. What I like to do, honestly, is I like to have pictures of what was repaired and just be honest and upfront, right? And I tell the person, hey, this is a salvage title vehicle. This is why it was salvaged. This is what was repaired. Feel free to bring a mechanic. Feel free, bring whoever they want to bring. So, again, you can definitely get a great deal on some salvage title cars, especially newer model cars. So, like, if you're looking at a 2022 Honda Accord versus what you would pay at a dealer and what you would buy for at a salvage auction, you'll definitely save some money. So there's definitely some opportunity for you to take advantage of when it comes to the salvage title cars. So again, I do think salvage titles are great cars. There's a lot of them being sold, by dealers. I know a guy on TikTok who his whole dealer is full of salvage title cars. That's all he sells. He's selling a lot of them. Why? Because the same thing. He's looking for cars that are not really too much. For example, if a car has some hail damage, that doesn't do anything to the motor or to the transmission, but the insurance company decided to salvage it out because the car had hail damage all over the vehicle, right? If the car was vandalized, I've seen some of these in auction and it's so funny. They spray painted the whole car, because somebody was caught cheating or whatever. They wrote cheater on the back side of the car, on the side of the car. So the insurance decided, hey, we're going to make this car salvage title because it's going to be hard to remove all this paint. They're going to have to repaint the whole car, right? And depending the year, make, and model of the car, that could be an expensive job, right? But again, that doesn't mean that the car doesn't run great, that it doesn't have a good motor and transmission. So again, guys, if you're interested in buying a salvage title vehicle, again, you can save yourself some money. Just make sure you do your due diligence. If you can, pull the Carfax, ask to see pictures, ask the person why the car was salvaged. And if you can, just take a mechanic with you. And just like you should do when you're buying like a non-salvage title car, make sure you do your due diligence on the vehicle, and honestly, you can get yourself a great deal. The other thing that I would add, and I'll end with this, is some cars have been damaged worse and they still have a clean title, right? So I'll give you a quick example. If somebody's driving a car and they get rear-ended and somehow everybody drives away and the car was rear-ended pretty bad and no insurance claim was made, somebody said, hey man, I'll fix the car for you, whatever, let's just not involve the insurance. Okay, you know what, no problem. And then the car was repaired and the car was damaged pretty bad, but guess what, the insurance wasn't involved, they were never notified, so that car keeps a clean title. So sometimes when you get a salvage title car, you know that the car was in an accident, so it makes you want to do a little bit more research on it and see why it was salvaged. So again, guys, I hope that was some information that you guys can use if you're interested in buying a salvage title car, a rebuild title car. I hope you can definitely share this with anybody who's interested in looking for a salvage title car. And if it's yourself, just do your due diligence, and maybe you can get yourself a great deal on a good car. So I'll end that video with this, man. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments and I'll try to answer all of them. So that, well, I'll see you the next one, man, guys. See you guys.